Welcome to this session on setting up the base geometry. So in this session, we're going to set up some additional arcs to form the guest room floors, and we're going to tie those arcs to the guest room floors, so as we make any modifications to the floor manager, the geometry will move as well. Let me go back to the graph, and we have that arc base that we created originally from the 3 points. And we can use that to set up the second set of arcs, which will be for the guest room floors. So I'm going to go to my node types, and I'm going to drag and drop another arc node onto the graph. And I'm going to call this one arc GR for guest rooms. And all I really want to do in this case is to copy that initial arc and copy it up from its base elevation up to each of the guest room floor elevations. So to copy a node in GenerativeComponents, there's actually a technique which exists on all the node types, which is copy transform geometric contents. And basically, it allows you to select a node that you want to copy, and then a copy from point and a copy to point. So the node we want to copy is our base arc. And what we want to do is copy it from the lobby floor up to each of the guest room floors. So each of those floors has an output property, which is its floor coordinate system. So I'm going to select the pull down on the right side of the node. I'm going to just scroll down here, and there is a floor coordinate system output. So I pin that to the graph, my wire's attached to it, and that's going to be my copy from point. And then I'm going to go over to the guest room node and pull out the same output. Floor coordinate system. Now remember, our guest room floors are a group of floors, and so there's a group of coordinate systems. So we're going to link that to the copy to point. And now you can see we have additional arcs at each guest room floor. I'm going to go to the Transactions tab and record that transaction. So now that we've established these arcs at each of the guest room floors, we can actually use those to create a stacking model. A stacking model is a model where you model each of the floor masses and basically stack them one on top of the other. So we will model a series of forms along a curve, basically along each of those arcs. Now we already did this in the previous session in which we created the form lobby. So I'm actually going to right-click on that node, and I can copy the node and then come to the graph and right-click, and I can paste another node here. And then I can just change some of its inputs. So first I'm going to change the name. So this will be the form, we'll call it GR for guest room. And we just need to change the curve. So I'm going to right-click on that wire and disconnect this wire from the arc base, and then connect it to the arc guest room. I'm going to double click on that node so I can see all of the node properties. So for instance, I might want to change the part here. So perhaps for these guest room floors, I'll stay with the schematic design family, but maybe I'll do a massing semi-transparent. I also want to make sure that the height of that form matches my guest room floor height. So rather than the lobby height, I want the guest room height, or the height, guest room height, GR height. And we can keep the same width for now. We might want to adjust that. And then I'm going to go to the transactions and record that node. Once you've recorded those transactions, you could then go to the control panel and modify the height or the width of the forms. And you could also move the initial 3 points so that you can modify the design of the mass, so that you now have a concave curve and a mass that has 1 lobby floor and 5 guest room floors. And in the next session, we'll begin to use list functions to modify individual members of a list.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.